Hey, welcome to another Valley Forged. Should be a quick, easy video. I just wanted to update my Lord's Prayer cross. That is in Spanish. This is the old version. It was kind of a little bit thick here, and I just tried to, tweak it a little bit, make it a little bit better. I'm always trying to improve things. And I wanted to put together a cross pack, which has Lord's Prayer Cross Spanish, the English version, the Celtic version, and I threw in a couple little extra things with it, prayer hands and some fun stuff. So I figured, hey, I'll just redo that. So this is the new version. I think it looks pretty good. And it has both a wall hanging version, which is this. And then I also did it with the full stand and everything. This is the old version, but the new version with the stand. I think it all is just going to look a little bit better. So if you've already got it, you should be able to re-download that. And I'm going to show you step by step how to make it, hopefully pretty quickly. First thing, obviously, have a laser. Second of all, of course, you're going to, I'm using Lightburn. You can use any software for lasers. You're just going to have to put the layers together. I mean, identify them yourself in your program, how you do it. I'm going to be showing it in Lightburn. That's my weapon of choice. So you go and get the file, download it. What I would do first of all, before anytime you're going to use it, make a copy. And just make it called backup or something, just so you can play around with this file and do things the way you want to do it without worrying about destroying the original file. In case you make a mistake, you go back to that. Also, make sure that you've tested your wood. So whatever you're going to use, I would make sure that you have tested it on your laser and you're going to cut out. You can do this in 3mm or 6mm. I'm going to show you both ways. But however you do that, just make sure your engraving settings and your cutting settings are going to be, because this takes a while, and you don't want to ruin a piece of wood just because it didn't get through a little bit. So you want to make sure your bed is flat, your lens is clean, your air is working well, and that you're getting clean cuts. So let's jump over to the file real quick, and I guess we can go from there. Okay, if you open up the one with the stand version, it's going to look like this. It'll have a stand. The one without the stand, of course, this part won't be here. But other than that, they're pretty much identical. This bottom part is different, of course, because you need the room to put it in the stand. But this one is more complicated. Pretty much the one without the stand. You just want to make sure your settings are correct. This part here is the inside is just an engrave. And so you want to make sure that is looking correct as an engrave in your preview. And this outside line is set up to cut. And of course, all the inside lines set up to cut. I put them on separate lines. This one is red and this one is black because I want the outside to cut separately. You'll understand that in a second. But they're both cut lines. To demonstrate, I'm just going to bring it upright because I think it's easier to show what we're going to do. So if you have a 6mm, and I recommend 30 watt or above for doing 6mm, or you're going to have to do 2 passes, that's fine. I would just say, if you're going to do 6mm, you only have to cut it out once. All right. But what I do, if I'm using 3mm, is instead of cutting the whole thing out twice, is I cut the whole thing out once in 3mm, and then I go in and I change this line. So what I do is change this line to black, so that it matches. And then I turn off everything else. And then what we have here is a little frame, right? So that we can just cut that out. So put that down and cut that out. And you can use MDF. You could use something less expensive. And what this is it's going to make it 6 millimeters, but it's going to save you some money, hopefully, and some time. And you just glue this to the back, and this is the way that I did it here. It'll just, you can see it back here. You can see it's just a frame that's glued to the back, and it makes no difference. It's still very sturdy, still looks very good, maybe even better because it doesn't have the thickness, so that when it just, yeah, it just looks good. So I maybe recommend you do that. So now, whether you did it 2 3 millimeters or 1 6 millimeter, you've got to have 1 6 millimeter thick piece here. So how do you make the stand? What I like to do, and let's turn the stand on here for a sec, is two things. You can resize this any size you want, but you're going to have to resize the stand to make sense, right? And when you do that, you want to bring this together and make sure that where this fits in is just a little bit wider than the cross base here. And now the important part comes is with the thickness. So you're going to have to use a caliper, or if you're sure that your wood is 3 millimeters each, then you're going to make sure that the width of this is 6 millimeters. Now mine already is, but make sure that this is unchecked, right? Unlocked. And then you're going to change this height to match whatever is your thickness of wood is. That's really the only difficult part of this entire thing, to make sure you do that. And then what I would also do is click that, press shift, and then also click the outside of your circle here, or a circle. It's not even a circle, is it? And then hit this little target. And what that's going to do is center it. Okay, so now you've got it centered. And now you can cut this out, and this should fit inside it. Now, if you're doing 3 millimeter, you would cut one of these out, and then you would cut another one out, maybe an MDF if you want to, or you could just use the same wood. It doesn't really matter. And with the base here, you're just going to do the same thing. Cut out either two of them, 1 6 millimeter, whichever way you want to go. You're going to glue this on top of this. That's why I put the line here, to make sure that you get it centered. And then you're going to glue the cross in. Obviously, you're going to check and make sure this fits before you glue it all together. But that's pretty much it. It's not super, super difficult. It just is time consuming to make it, and because there's a lot of detail in here. So again, you just really want to make sure your settings are correct and that you're going to get it right the first time. You don't want to be messing around with that. But it does turn out, what I think, beautifully. I think it looks great, and makes a wonderful gift for the right person. So check out this cross, my whole collection, and see if that makes sense for you. And if you have any trouble with the file itself, hit me up on Etsy. If you have any trouble making it or things like that, please just leave a comment here on the video so that everybody can see, maybe what the question is. They may have the same question, and so I can answer that for everybody. But I think it'll, turn out real nice. So like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, and I will see you in the next one. Love y'all.